What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Bruce, this is What's Popping, and in today's video, I've been grail hunting. That is right, guys. I've been going around looking for some grail pops, some little pops that I needed to fill up gaps in my collection, exclusive pops, vaulted pops, and I thought I'd show this off to you guys today because here in South Africa we have an amazing community, not just of collectors but of sellers as well, and people are bringing in different products and bringing in small amounts of pops, some great independent stores that have opened up on Facebook, online, wherever it may be, and I thought I'd show those off to you and let you guys know about some of these incredible stores that are bringing in these amazing pops. I have the pops right here, you can see some of them, so let's have a look at them. And I've just been basically I would say we have 5 figures to open, but 4 of them are kind of like personal grails, not massive mega grails. The 5th one I think is debatable to be a massive grail, so definitely hang around to the end of the video so you can check that one out. But let's get started, guys. So first off we have Filch and Mrs. Norris. Now, I picked up Filch and Mrs. Norris from Magna Toys, from Carisha over at Magna Toys. Massive shout out to Carisha, and thank you for bringing this pop in for me. She brings in a ton of pops, looking really at specialized figures. So this is a New York Comic Con exclusive, and that is where Carisha brought it in from. What was great was I asked Carisha to try to get hold of it for me. She does her best. If she can't get hold of it, she lets you know. She lets you know what the odds of her getting hold of it are, which is really useful as well. And if it does come in and it is damaged, she gives you a little bit of a discount as well, or offers you the opportunity to go ahead and get a new pop. So great work from Carisha, and it's really great to see a seller going the extra mile for South African collectors. So let's have a look at Filch and Mrs. Norris out of the box. And this is a pop I've been wanting for a very long time. It is the only Filch pop out there, and it is a lot of fun. We have him, here he is holding Mrs. Norris in his typical pose. I love David Bradley as Filch. I loved him in Game of Thrones. I loved him in The Strain. He is such a cool actor, and he's actually one of those underrated actors who's appeared in so many different cool franchises and genres. He's done a really cool job, and very late in his career, but I think he's done really well. And what a cool figure this is. This is of course Filch holding Mrs. Norris. She's got those red eyes. Would have been cool if they flocked just Mrs. Norris, but I think there would have been a lot of effort to go through and probably would have driven the price up quite a bit on this pop, so I'm happy that they didn't. And also I can display it out of box now because I keep all of my flocked pops in box, so the fact that that isn't flocked means that I get to keep it out of box, which is great for my Harry Potter collection. Really cool figure. Not much to him. They've just caught the essence of Filch in this figure, and really thrilled to have him in the collection. He's a grail for me, personal grail, just because he's a New York Comic Con exclusive, and really difficult to get hold of here in South Africa, to get hold of those con exclusives unless you're using a store like Carisha or somebody like that who's bringing the pops in. So thank you once again to Carisha over at Magna Toys. I will leave a link to her right down in the description down below. Definitely go and check her out. Check out her Facebook page, give her a like, give her a thumbs up, and see if she can hook up some awesome Funko Pops for you. Next up, guys, we have a pop that I got from a local collector here. I'm not going to say the name just in case, I didn't discuss it with them, so I don't want to put their name out there if they're not comfortable with it. But I've been trying to fill out my Game of Thrones collection recently, so I've been hunting Game of Thrones pops and vaulted Game of Thrones pops like crazy. It's destroyed my budget, but it's been a lot of fun. So what I've done is I've had to let some go. Unfortunately, there's been a few floating around Facebook that I really wanted that I had to let go, but I managed to get this one for a really good price, and I picked up Jaime Lannister. This is a really cool Jaime Lannister for me. Not worth a ton on the Pop Price Guide app, but he's a grail for me because it's a vaulted pop that is quite difficult to get hold of nowadays here in South Africa anyway. And I started collecting quite late in the Game of Thrones line, so a pop like this that was probably really easy to get at the beginning is quite tough for me to get now. But this is a really cool figure, and I really love this Jaime because this is Jaime from the episode where he spends a lot of time chatting to Tyrion, and we see him sparring with Bronn with only one hand. But it is also the episode in which Joffrey Baratheon dies. So
why is no one eating? My wife wastes away and my brother starves himself.
I'm not hungry.
You lost a hand, not a stomach.
it's an iconic episode, and it's a really cool figure for me to have. Really dig it. I love the detail on it. I love the scarring on his face. The paint job is really clean, which is quite surprising for quite an early Game of Thrones figure. I mean, he came out back in 2015, so not that long ago in normal time, but in collecting in Funko time, 5 years is quite a lot of time. And so a really well detailed pop, and they've done a great job with his Valyrian steel sword. The intricate work on his hand is really well done. I love the gold there, and I love the scarring. He's just sort of come back from being kept prisoner, and he's still got those scars, which do go away sort of later in the show, but really something that I think they captured really well in this figure. So there is Jaime Lannister. keeping on the Game of Thrones front, guys, another pop that I was able to pick up, one that I've been looking for a long time. I missed out on it a little while ago in a Facebook post. Somebody was selling one, and I finally managed to get this one. It's Sam.
Frodo wouldn't have got far without Sam.
No, not that Sam, but Game of Thrones Sam. We have Samwell Tarly.
Tell them your name.
Samwell Tarly of Hornhill. I mean, I was of Hornhill. I've come to take the black.
From Game of Thrones, and guys, what an epic figure. And what's really great about this is I have the Castle Black Jon Snow as well. So this is of course Sam, you know, when he first meets Jon Snow at Castle Black and they're sparring and Jon kicks his ass, for lack of a better word. You know, and basically everyone kicks his ass. So he's got that black sword that they use for sparring. He's got that like sort of sparring armor, which is really cool. And it's a really iconic moment. It's where, you know, you started to see the relationship between Jon and Sam form, not just because it's where they met, but you can see Jon's heart goes out to Sam, and he really, you know, he's the first person to see that in the Night's Watch and you know, in Game of Thrones in general and throughout Westeros, the war is not just going to be won with brute strength. You need people that are smart, and you need people that have different talents, and that's something Jon picks up on. And so that's why the relationship for me between Jon and Sam is really special, and I'm really excited to have this Sam pop go next to my Jon Snow in their Castle Black outfits. They're like still sort of grunts and rookies, and it's just a great set for me to have. Moving on to the last two pops, guys. Now, these are big grails for me. The last pop, again, like I said, is a big grail probably by any standards, but this next pop is a huge grail for me, and I need to say a massive thank you to Jess Saley for helping me to find it. It is an awesome figure. It is for my Lord of the Rings collection. I now only need one more figure, well, one 2-pack to finish my Lord of the Rings set, and that is the Aragorn and Arwen 2-pack from SDCC. So one day, if I can get that, I will finish my Lord of the Rings collection. The only pops that I don't have then are the invisible versions of like Frodo and Gollum. I'm not really interested in those, and I don't have the normal Gollum. I've got the Chase. But by my own personal rules for collecting, if you want to see my rules for collecting and tips for collecting, I'll leave a link to that up here, because Funko collecting can take you down a massive rabbit hole, and if you don't set some rules and parameters for yourself, you will drive yourself insane. So by my rules of collecting, I'll have at least one of each character in each pose, and yeah, by that standard, my Lord of the Rings collection will be finished. Don't get me started on the Hobbit collection. That thing's almost impossible to finish, or to get anything from. I only have Smaug from that collection. The couple of collectors here who have a lot of Hobbit pops, but I'm digressing now. Let's get into this figure, and it is none other than the Twilight Ring Wraith from the Fellowship of the Ring. So this is, of course, the Witch King of Angmar himself. And this is probably the coolest looking glow pop that I've ever seen. This thing absolutely shines when you turn the lights out, and it's been I always say it's been charged up by light. But let's have a look at him on the wheel. This is such a cool figure. I mean, I'm not at first I wasn't, you know, too sure about him. I thought he was just going to be see-through like the other invisible figures, but he isn't at all. He is incredibly well done. I love the intricate work that they've done on his crown. The sort of the embossing and the different little ins and outs of that crown, where it's sort of become mangled, and it's, you know, almost like a crown of thorns, but metallic, and it's really, you know, it looks like it would be really painful to wear. You also then have, of course, the Morgul blade, which looks amazing and glows really well. And on this figure, what they've done really well is they've caught the essence of the character in the eyes, which is very difficult to do with Funko figures, having those normal black eyes. And what they've done with this figure is sort of given him slit eyes and then put bags under those eyes, and those bags under the eyes are so reminiscent of that scene in the movie where we see Frodo seeing the true form of the Nazgul for the first time, and it's just really well done. I think there are very few Funko Pops, you know, that have used this little paint and achieved this much detail. So this pop is all down to the mold. The mold is really well done, and that is where this pop gets all of its character and all of its awesomeness from. Now, last up, guys, this is probably the biggest grail out of the haul, definitely, by most people's standards, and it is a pop that I thought I would never get. Now, the terming for this grail can be up to interpretation. So, you know, a lot of people just base grails on whether or not it's worth a lot of money or whether it's a piece that's really personal to them. This one's a little bit of both. It's not worth a ton of money depending on which app you use. But this is a pop that I picked up from Shahir over at Wizard's Toy Store. So I'll leave a link to him down below as well. I've bought a lot of stuff from Shahir. All of his stuff comes in pop protectors, which is always great. He ships stuff off super quickly, keeps you up to date with how stuff is moving, and you know, sends you all the tracking details and that kind of stuff. And he also brings in a lot of stuff. So definitely check out his page. He's always got new things coming in. He has got clearance sales coming on for things that have maybe moved, you know, maybe extra stock or damaged stock or that kind of stuff. So if you're an out-of-box collector, that's something to take note of as well. And he brings a lot of stuff in from the cons overseas, which is really great to see for us South African collectors who are so starving for those international exclusives. But anyways, guys, this pop I picked up from him for a steal of a price, in my opinion, and it's just such a cool figure. I'm not going to hold it off anymore. It is Mark Hamill. So we have Mark Hamill in the Joker outfit. Now, what this pop is worth is up to, you know, there's not a defined price. I know it's not like Head Disney, which is just worth a ton of money. If you go into the Funko app, this pop is worth over 3,500 Rand at the time that I bought it anyway. I think it's gone down a little bit now. If you go into Pop Price Guide, it's worth about $50. So I tend to use Pop Price Guide as my estimate for everything. So it's still at $50. It's a decently priced figure, but this version is the one with the Mark Hamill exclusive sticker, as well as the D-Expo sticker as well. So that's a really cool little feature, and I'm really thrilled to have this in my collection. It is, of course, Mark Hamill dressed up as the Joker.
You draw from all different elements. I was doing Claude Rains from The Invisible Man. Crazy? You think I'm crazy? I'll show you who's crazy.
And he's holding a card which is not a Joker card, and what's really interesting about that, as you take a closer look at this figure, is that is actually a logo that has been developed by Nathan Hamill, which is Mark Hamill's son. So that's a cool little touch that they've done there, and that's something that's put on that figure, with Mark Hamill, of course, providing the Joker for Batman and the animated series. You know, Mark Hamill is probably not my favorite actor, but he's played some of, you know, the most iconic roles in television. I mean, Luke Skywalker and the Joker, straight up, you've ticked off two of the most iconic roles in TV. Then you have things like Chucky, and so much of the, you know, he's got a much bigger portfolio of work than people actually think. Because you think Mark Hamill, you think Star Wars, and rightly so, but he's also done a ton of other stuff, and this is such a cool figure. I would love to get this autographed by him one day. That is probably a pipe dream, because I don't think he would come to Comic-Con here in South Africa, but it would be amazing to get this signed. He's in his Joker outfit. I love the shading on his beard, which I think is really cool, and that's something that's not shown on the box, so that's quite cool. They've shown the same as sort of the older Harrison Pop figures. They've aged him a bit, which is quite nice, by putting sort of bags under the eyes and a couple of wrinkles on the figure, and he's in the same pose as my Joker from the animated series, so that is quite cool. The difference there being that Mark Hamill is, of course, holding the card with the logo by Nathan Hamill. So this is a really cool pickup for me. Very excited to have it. It is one of those pops just because of the iconic roles that Mark Hamill has played, and how much I love him as an actor, that this is a pop that I had to have in my collection. What I'm surprised about is the price on the Funko app. So the Funko app, of course, you know, is, I think, a lot more prone to a couple of sales pushing the price way up, but generally what seems to happen then is the price comes right back down. So it usually, so for example, it might go up to 3,000 Rand, and then within a week or two it generally comes back down. So I'm quite surprised that this has held its value so high on the Funko app, and I don't think it's going to stay that high for that long. So I took a screenshot of it because it's going to be the most expensive pop in my collection for quite a time to come, and I paid not even a fifth of the price for this figure. So I know Shahir knows his stuff as well, and it's definitely not a pop that is worth 3,500 Rand, but it's a really cool figure, and for me, monetary wise, personal grail, however you want to name it, it's a grail for my collection, and I'm super excited to have him. That about does it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Before you go, definitely go ahead and check out those sellers here. Check out Carisha over at Magna Toys. Check out Shahir over at Wizard's Toy Store. Hit them up on Facebook. Give them a like on their page, and definitely give them a follow as well, because our local companies need support. It's been a really tough year, guys, and for them to be still bringing pops in and doing what they're doing for the local community is really great, and giving us those opportunities to buy Funko Pops that we can't normally get here. We have some amazing sellers here. We have Chris over at Silver Toy Store. We have Magna Toys now. We have Wizard's Toy Shop. We have amazing comic book stores. I can't can't even name all of them. I've done reviews for quite a few of them on the channel. We've looked at a lot of amazing sellers here in South Africa, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of this community and a part of sharing that love and that Funko joy. So thank you to everyone out there. If I haven't mentioned you, I'm really sorry. I've gotten a bit blank now while I'm doing this outro for the video. Keep doing what you're doing and keep garnering that local support. It's really so important. Guys, before you go, if you haven't already, please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, to all the YouTube cliches. When we get to 600 subscribers, I have a pretty special giveaway ready, so I'm excited to announce that. Maybe when we hit 580, 575, we'll announce what that giveaway is going to be, but we're definitely going to have more than one winner, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So until then, guys, I will see you in the next video. Cheers.